basically this is like a really mathy version of notes here. It's saying that, oh man, I'm having troubles here. It doesn't work if it's straight up and down, because that's a weird line. That's an anomaly, okay? And we have our slope point equation. It is this: y minus y1 equals mx minus x1. All they did is they took this form of the equation, y minus y1 and x minus x1, and they just rearranged it. So really it's our slope equation rearranged. That's all right? So a couple things you have to remember in our slope equation is that these are always negatives. And that's the part that messes you up every time. They're always subtraction signs. So when we're doing this, we have to be careful with that. They're kind of separate entities from the point. So when we did this in our slope form, which ones we have to watch out for, and I even made a couple mistakes, was when I go 6 minus and your other y value is like -2. What did that turn into? 6 plus 2? So what we're doing today now is you're going backwards. If you see this as a plus sign, you have to know we got it because the point's negative, right? A little weird there. Just like when we had, say, 5 minus some other number, like 5 minus 3, right? That actually was a positive 3 value. So that subtraction sign and is separate from the points. And that's the biggest trick with this situation, okay? Now, why do we have the subscript 1? We have the subscript 1 because they are actually coordinates of a point. So they are actually a point on our line. The other y and the other x, they aren't points on our line until we find them, okay? So we're going to play around with that a little bit here. Okay, so looking at this here equation, y minus 7 equals -1/3 x plus 4. What is your m value? What's in the location of the slope? And you all say -1/3. Okay, that's in the m location. Now, what's the point? Well, here's our y value. It's 7. Okay, it's in the y location. But we just finished talking about it. How would we get this plus 4? Really, it's x minus -4. And so we have to know that and tell the people that the point's -4. Okay, that's the biggest issue with this sucker. Any questions? So what we're going to do is we're going to take this and rearrange it into a better form, like we're going to rearrange into y equals mx plus b, because that's super easy to graph, okay? So let's do that. So use a slope point form to write the equation of a line with this slope and passing through that point. Then express, aka change, the equation into slope-intercept, just like what I said, all right? So let's start with y minus y1 equals m bracket x minus x1. You don't have to memorize it. I will have it on every quiz or test. You'll see that equation, but the more you write it, the more you're going to memorize it, the easier it'll be to work with it, okay? So let's fill in the blank spots. Y minus x minus, and now we have our blank spots. So I'm going to fill it in red. What is my y value that I put here? 1. Okay, it's from the point right here. What's my x value? 3. It's from right here, the point that's given. And what's my slope? 4/3. Okay? So the first thing we're going to do is multiply in and get rid of our brackets. The y minus 1 will not change. So y minus 1 stays. Then, just like our polynomials unit, our factors and products, here you go, Gerben. When you multiply into both parts of the brackets. So you're going to get 4/3 times x, which we write as 4/3 times x, right? And then the next multiplication times -3. How does that work? Well, it's over 1. So really, it's like -12/3. Remember, when you multiply the tops, multiply the bottoms. So that's going to be -4. So really what's happening is the 3's are canceling out to a -1, and you're multiplying 4 times -1. So this would be -4. Okay. You guys okay with the multiplying the fractions? Because we're going to do this to the end of the year. So if you're stuck on this multiplying fraction stuff, ask me for help, because we're doing it every single class to the end of the year. 100% guarantee we're doing it. It's bread and butter stuff. Okay, and it's easy once you understand. Good. What's the last thing we have to move? How do we move -1? Good. +1, +1. So we get y equals 4/3 x does not change, but we just add our 1 to our constant, becomes -3. And so now you can go and graph that easily, can't you? Yeah, totally. Okay. So next part, we are going to write this into slope point and then into slope intercept. Okay. So first thing we have to do is find our slope. Go ahead. Use your M equation, find your slope. Go. Okay, how many people got a slope of -2? Good, I did it right. So now what you can do, you got the slope, we have 2 points. Which one should we use? Well, you can use either points. It does not matter. The cool part about this is it works out to the exact same slope-intercept equation. You actually only have, every line has one slope-intercept equation, but an infinite number of slope point equations. And they all, when you rearrange them algebraically, go to that same exact slope-intercept form. Crazy, right? But on a line, there's points all over the place. So you could use any point. So you can use either point. That's really important to know. It doesn't matter which one you choose. So we're going to let Trevor choose. First one or second one, Trevor?
Second one.
Okay, so we're going to use the second one. So y minus y1 equals m bracket x minus x1 bracket. Then y minus, and we're going to start filling in the blanks, x minus. So now I want you to fill in the blanks, right? You got to have a point value, a slope, and a point value. Go for it. Yeah, so Trevor decided to use 4 and -2. Okay, there you go. Did you change this to a +2? That's the trickiest thing right there. Okay, so now we can multiply. So y plus 2 equals -2x plus 4. Y equals what? -2x. Oh, we multiplied in. Sorry, +8. Thank you. +8. Okay. And then +2. So there's the test there in the project. So the project and the new unit. No, project. Thanks. I can't do two things at once.
Oh, totally.
Yeah, so he needs both of those.
Okay.
Plus 6. And then more. Any questions? All right. So a lot of this unit is actually algebra work, stuff that we've done before. Okay, so you got to know it. If you're not sure, ask me and I'll help you. Because again, it's really easy once you've gone and done it and understand it. But if you don't understand it, it's going to be really painful because it's going to be the exact same thing over and over. Okay, there we go. Okay, so now we have the exact same question. What's the difference between these two? Well, the only difference is I didn't tell you these values. So you have to now tell me the coordinates of these points. That's the only thing that's different. So there we have -6, 4, 4, -2. And so now that you know those points, it's just like the first question. So I want you to find your slope. I'm going to do that over here. Okay? So use your slope equation, find your slope. How many people got -3/5? Did I screw something up? Got 1. So 4 minus -2 turns into adding 6. And then -6 minus 4 would be -10. Okay, so -6 minus 4. So it's plus 4. So that should be -2 on the bottom. And then it's just -3, is that correct? No? What'd you guys get? What am I? Yeah, let me try the other way. Sorry. Okay, let me start again. Oh yeah, because I changed my y value, then I changed my x. Okay, so -4 minus -2, and the x's are -6 minus 4. Okay, so this is still over 10. Here's where I went wrong. So this would be -4 plus 2, so it'd be -2 over 10, so -1/5. Now I'm right. Yes, that's what you guys got, -1/5? -10. So now there we go. Okay, so double negatives, positive final 1/5. And that's correct. Just look at the slope of the line. That's a positive line. Okay, Mr. Marcus having a moment, old guy moment. All right, so let's turn that into our slope point equation. Y minus y1 equals m bracket x minus x1. And then you're going to substitute in. Now, which point are you going to choose? How about Emerson's on that half of the class? You guys choose the first point. Sorry, you guys choose this point. And my side of the room, we're going to choose this point. Okay? We'll see if we get something different. And I'll do them both just to double check because I need to wake up. Is it an asked equation? So you gotta do your fraction skills. Do you guys get 1/5 x minus 14/5? Okay, I'm gonna do the other one just to make sure. Yep, -14/5. Wait, so you gotta do your fraction skills. So here I have -4/5 minus 2. Well, first of all, you gotta know how to multiply 1/5 times x and 1/5 times -4. So 1/5 times -4, you get -4/5. Okay. Grade 8 fraction skills. If you need help with them, come see me after. Then I am moving my +2 over by minusing 2. And as a fraction, that's -2/1. So I get my common denominator, and I get my answer, and then I just rewrite it in my final form. Okay. If you use the other point, you would still have to multiply by this fraction. So you multiply in, then you multiply in, and you get 6/5. Then you move the +4 over, and it becomes -4, which is 6/5 minus 4/1, and you got to get a common denominator. So now you can go 6 minus 20 on top, all over 5, which is -14/5 again. Okay. So it's just our fraction skills. Simple stuff. You're not going to get a lot of those tougher ones like that. You probably get maybe 4 on the test. Okay, it's not going to be a whole test of them. All right. Any questions? Okay, so the rest are just some other examples that we're going to go over as soon as you get back. But in order for you guys to go see the hallway, you have all the information for this question. So the first information is you're writing the equation of some line that's parallel to this line. So what is it telling you to do? What's it saying there? What does that mean? What do you know about parallel lines? Ishka? Same slopes. So they're saying, yo, dum-dum, use the slope m equals 3/4. That's what they're saying there, okay? So you gotta be a detective, understand that's what they're saying. Then it says this line that you're going to create has an x-intercept of 6. What did they just tell you? And what does that tell you though? What the x-intercept is? Sorry, Emerson? That's a point. What's the x and y coordinates of that point then? So the question is it 0, 6 or 6, 0? So what are you going to do? You're going to check which one of those is on the x-axis. See how you actively have to think this through? 6, 0, right? This is your x-intercept. So you have to know and understand and use all your ideas that they told you to use the slope of 3/4 and to use the point, of 6, 0. Because to be on the x-axis, it would be 6, 0. That's what you got to come up with. Any questions? Okay, so there's my rough work. And so now we're going to start in y minus y1 equals mx minus x1. Okay? And so then what I want you to do is substitute in y minus what equals what bracket x minus what bracket. Okay. Okay. So substitute in. So Jordis, what we just went over here was that when they said the line we're making is parallel to this line, basically they're saying, hey, the line you have to make is this slope through the 4 because they're parallel, okay? And then the question said the x-intercept of 6, well, that gives us a point coordinates, and the point is 6, 0, and we double check that by quickly graphing the x-intercept would be 6, 0, and so we're not going to use 0, 6 because that would be the y-intercept. Okay, so that's what we're thinking here. That's all our thoughts. Okay, so we should get y minus what? 0, and then 6 bracket, sorry, 6, 3 over 4, x minus 6, correct? Okay. So y minus 0 is interesting. Let's simplify that. What is y minus 0? No, it's y. Right? Y minus anything is just y by itself. So that's kind of going to make it easier for us. Now let's multiply in by the fraction and we're done. Multiply in. Multiply in. Minus what? Don't simplify it. What's 3 times 6? We haven't touched the denominator at all, so we'll just leave it as 18 over 4. Now we can reduce. Okay, so now we can reduce, divide them both by 2 for sure, 9 over 2. Okay, do not give me a decimal, don't want it. Okay, fractions are good. Any questions? This one was unique because the x-intercept has that 0 value. All right. Okay, read the next question. Underline the important information. Okay, so y-intercept of 4, what is the question telling you? Well, is it 0, 4 or 4, 0? It's 0, 4. So they're telling you the point that the line, your line that you're going to make goes through. Okay. Then it says perpendicular to a line that has these points. What can we find from those points? The slope. So find the slope here. I got a slope of 2. Did you guys get that? Okay. So how do we start? We start with our equation. Okay, y minus y1 equals m bracket x minus x1. You should be close to having that memorized now. And then you can start filling in the blank. Now this is going to be a unique one as well. Oh, sorry, that's the slope of the other line, but we have the perpendicular slope. That's the slope we have to use. So what is that? Something about a negative, but then the reciprocal part. James? Sorry? Negative 1 over 2. Okay? Or 1 over negative 2, but it's always better to put your negative sign up top. Okay? Good. So making your equation then, it should be y minus 4 equals m, negative 1 over 2, x minus 0. So this is kind of unique as well. The y minus 4 part doesn't change. Multiply your fraction inside. The question, of course, is what happens when we multiply anything by 0? It will be 0. Do we need that there? No, we don't need it there. So really, once we multiply in, right, we just get negative 1/2 x. Well, sorry, yeah, we have the y minus 4. Now move it over. Yeah. So move the 4 over now, and you should get negative 1/2 x plus 4. There you go. All right. let's not worry about this one. This is a real world application, but we're not going to go over those this year just for time wise. All right. So we can cross that one off. All right. So your homework then, on your outline, we have some textbook questions, which are going to be a little bit of a challenge. You'll notice I told you test questions. 21, 22, and 23 are test questions. So you might want to star them in your homework when you do them and write down on test. Okay? Okay, pitter patter, get at them. You'll get this homework done in class, or you should. I do want to just gently introduce general form before we go, okay? You may have to do like numbers 5 and 6.